Home security became a widespread trend a few years ago as burglaries were happening more frequently. People were becoming increasingly concerned about the safety of their homes, and as a result, began investing in various forms of security systems. From alarm systems to cameras, and even advanced smoke systems, everyone seemed to be racing to protect their homes from potential intruders. The following footage was captured during this heightened security craze. The homeowners had recently installed 4 cameras inside their house, along with a high-tech smoke system designed to activate when a break-in occurred. This system would create a thick, zero-vision smoke within 10 seconds, rendering it almost impossible for burglars to see or act. Fortunately, over the years that the homeowners had these devices, they had never needed to use them for their intended purpose, at least not for any burglaries. However, the footage we're about to see shows that these systems would come in handy for another reason. In the video, a series of objects begin moving on their own in the kitchen. Meanwhile, the door in the frame seems to shift off camera. The family claimed they could hear faint banging noises as this occurred. The strange activity triggered the smoke system, filling the room with thick smoke. It took them almost 2 hours to clear the room and restore visibility. The homeowner later commented that the entire experience felt like something straight out of a James Bond movie. Cool yet terrifying. Now, one thing I often mention in my videos is how spirits seem to be especially drawn to dolls. It's a peculiar phenomenon that remains largely unexplained. Why are spirits so attracted to these innocent children's toys? No one really knows. But when a spirit possesses a doll, the results are always unnerving, and often downright disturbing. Perhaps it's the idea of a child's toy becoming a vessel for something dark that makes these occurrences so unsettling. Regardless, we've seen enough examples of this to know there's something deeply eerie about possessed dolls. The following clip is a perfect example of just how strange things can get when spirits latch onto these toys.
Ma, ese muñeco acaba de sonar solo y se está moviendo solo. ¡Muévete, sapo perro! Ma. Mamá. Mamá. Se lo juro que yo no he activado nada. Mamá. Uy, quieto.
In this footage, a doll can be seen moving on its own, despite there being no human interaction. The doll shifts and jerks around for about 30 seconds, which is more than enough time for anyone in the room to feel the hair stand up on the back of their neck. The man filming this was understandably freaked out, and he knew for sure that his daughter would never be allowed to play with that particular doll again. It's one of those moments that makes you question the innocence of things that are supposed to bring comfort and joy to children. Tim Morozov, a popular YouTuber with over 600,000 subscribers, is known for his bold approach to paranormal investigations. Tim has built his reputation by exploring abandoned places, old hospitals, decrepit houses, and other eerie locations, and sharing his experiences with his audience. While some might describe Tim's actions as reckless, his bravery is what has made him a fan favorite. The video we're about to watch is a perfect example of Tim's fearlessness, as it showcases one of his scariest and most bizarre experiences. It was 1 a.m. when Tim set out to explore an abandoned house, hoping to capture some ghostly encounters for his viewers. Surprisingly, the house he chose wasn't known for being haunted. It had simply been abandoned due to its poor construction. But, as we'll see, Tim was about to prove that there was more to this house than meets the eye.
за шум? Там, по-моему, только одна вешалка была. Что сейчас за порыв энергии был такой?
As Tim entered a particular room, he suddenly felt an overwhelming chill run through his body. He described the sensation as though the cold was flooding his veins, and it was one of the strongest feelings of paranormal presence he had ever experienced. His hands started to tremble, and for a moment, he didn't want to continue exploring the house. But, being the brave investigator that he is, Tim pressed on and approached a closet. Suddenly, a carpet-like object flew out of the closet, spiraling around the room. Tim had no idea what was happening, but he quickly ran around the house trying to track down the flying rug. Eventually, the rug came to a stop, but the mystery of why it had been thrown around the room remained unanswered. It's an event that still baffles Tim and his viewers to this day. Jack had a strong intuition that his house was haunted. He couldn't explain it, but he just felt that something wasn't right. He would place an object in one room, only to find it in a completely different room the next day. For months, Jack tried to convince his wife that their house was far from ordinary, but she refused to believe him. She brushed it off as his imagination running wild, despite the growing number of strange occurrences. Jack knew he needed something more concrete to prove his point, something undeniable. His plan was simple. He would set up a camera in his son's room and capture as much evidence of paranormal activity as he could. Why he chose his son's room, I'm not sure, but it turned out to be the perfect place to get the proof he needed. As Jack stood in his son's room, he watched in disbelief as a drawer inexplicably opened by itself. He stayed silent, hoping that his calm demeanor wouldn't provoke the spirit further. Fortunately, this strategy seemed to work. Nothing too violent occurred, but another strange phenomenon took place. The curtains began waving unnaturally, as if being moved by an unseen force. Jack immediately showed the footage to his wife, who, instead of being concerned, dismissed the evidence outright. She told him to stick his evidence in the trash, claiming that he had clearly staged the events. So, who do you think was right in this situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Roland, a full-time paranormal investigator with a dedicated YouTube following, has appeared in several of my previous videos. His content never fails to intrigue and captivate his audience, and today's clip is no different. Roland travels all over the United States, investigating various haunted locations and capturing footage of spirits and otherworldly phenomena. His house, located in the southern US, has been haunted for 3 years now, a result of Roland's constant exposure to the paranormal. The following footage was recorded in his own home, and it is particularly interesting because Roland is often seen as an expert who doesn't easily get frightened by the things he encounters. Many people in the comments section have even accused him of faking his footage, claiming that he's not scared enough to be truly experiencing paranormal activity. But, as you'll see, this clip might make you think twice about those accusations.
What in the hell? Alright. That drawer and that cabinet door, those were not open.
Alright, who opened this? Is there a spirit here that left this cabinet door open? Can you please... Oh, look, there it goes. It's shut. Alright. Apparently, somebody just shut that cabinet. You left the drawer open. Can you please shut the drawer? You left it open right there. Please shut the drawer. You still left the drawer open. Can you please shut the drawer? And stop opening things in here. Up, there it goes. All right. I see you close the drawer in the cabinets.
What the hell? I just heard something. Something was coming from the ceiling.
Is there a spirit in here that just did something in the ceiling?
Something up in there. That ceiling there. What the hell? I know there's no way anybody could fit in there, right? There's no way anybody can hide in there.
In this footage, Roland encounters a spirit that seems to respond to him in a way that is very unusual for a house ghost. Normally, spirits in such environments cause chaos and havoc without any regard for the person present. However, this spirit seemed to be calm and even appeared to listen to Roland's requests. This rare occurrence left Roland baffled, as he couldn't figure out why the spirit behaved in such a way. Despite his years of expertise, Roland was just as perplexed as anyone else. He uploaded this footage, along with other paranormal encounters, in a single video. The comments section was flooded with confusion, as even his most loyal fans were unsure of what they had just witnessed. A heartwarming yet chilling story surrounds a young girl and her father, a firefighter who tragically lost his life while trying to save others during a fire. The town honored him for his heroism, and his wife gave their daughter a special gift to remember him by. It was a stuffed teddy bear, dressed in the same outfit that the father had once worn and cherished. But that's not all. The wife had also arranged for a recording of the father's voice to be embedded in the bear, so that whenever the daughter cuddled it, she would hear a message from her father. It was an emotional and comforting gift for the girl, and it provided her with a sense of connection to her father, even after his passing. However, as we know all too well, even the most innocent of items can sometimes take on a life of their own in the paranormal world.
I just missed a call from my dad. He's been gone. Like, I just heard his voice one more time.
One evening, as the girl was hugging the teddy bear, the voice message triggered, and the girl could hear her father's voice again. For a moment it was reassuring, proof that her father was safe and watching over her. But, the next day, something strange happened that made the girl question the true nature of the spirit that was reaching out to her. As she was in her room, the doors started opening and closing on their own. The girl felt an unsettling, dark presence in the room, which led her to believe that it might not have been her father's spirit after all. Was it something darker? Perhaps we'll never know for sure. Finally, on November the 12th of last year, a family gathered in their parents' bedroom for a talk on the dangers of eating too quickly. Everything seemed normal, but what happened next is something they would never forget. The family owned a cat, but it was with them on the bed during the meeting, so whatever they were about to witness could not have been their pet. This strange occurrence left them questioning everything they thought they knew.
Bruja real se convierte en gato.
Hay algo allá afuera. Que estamos viéndolo. ¿Quién eres? Tú no eres un gato. ¿Qué pasó? ¡Ay, qué es eso! Vete de aquí, ¿quién eres? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Quién eres? Te estoy grabando, ¿quién eres? ¿Por qué estás aquí en mi casa? ¿Tú no eres un gato? Tú no eres un gato. Te ordeno que te vayas de mi casa. ¡Ay! No manches, no manches. ¿Qué es eso, Virginia? Se abrió la puerta. Se abrió la puerta. Se abrió la puerta. ¡Ay, güey! Se me abrió la puerta. Vámonos.
Experts believe that the cat might have been a skinwalker, a shape-shifting entity capable of imitating animals. The family asked the cat several questions, and it seemed to respond with intelligence, almost as if it understood their words. When they got closer to the cat, it suddenly leapt out of the window and disappeared into thin air. The family was left speechless, unsure of what they had just witnessed. At certain points in life, people sometimes find themselves in the right place at exactly the right time. It feels as though the stars have aligned and the universe is on their side, setting up the perfect circumstances for something extraordinary to happen. These moments can come out of nowhere, often completely unexpected, but still seem to work out for the best. On the other hand, there are also those who find themselves in the exact opposite situation. They're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and no matter what they do, things just seem to go terribly wrong. It's the kind of feeling that the office worker in the video we're about to show you had to endure. It was around 2 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon when Paul, a factory worker, was doing his shift. He decided to take a break and went to the leisure room to relax for a few minutes. Little did he know that this would be no ordinary break, and something very strange was waiting for him. As Paul stepped into the room, everything seemed to malfunction around him, but the most notable occurrence was when the chair in the corner of the room suddenly moved on its own. At this point, Paul wasted no time and sprinted out of the room to get to safety. But as he made his way out, things began to escalate rapidly. The lights on the other side of the door flickered, and the door itself began opening and closing all on its own. It was an extremely unsettling experience for Paul, and after reviewing the security footage, his boss decided to grant him a week off to recover from the traumatic event. Since that day, nothing like this has ever happened again in the building. At the same time, Riley, the creator of the upcoming footage, was living a fairly typical life. He worked at a local restaurant and was in a committed relationship with his girlfriend, Becca. They lived together in a nice, spacious apartment, a place that was quite large for a couple their age. The apartment had 4 rooms, each one bigger than they had ever imagined, making it the perfect place for them to live. Becca had a demanding job at the local McDonald's, working a 7-hour shift that kept her out late. She would leave the apartment at 9 p.m. and return home at 4 a.m., a schedule that was tough on anyone, but Riley had to deal with it every week. Unfortunately, every time Becca left the apartment for work, strange events would start happening, and Riley's life was never the same. The next clip shows just one example of the eerie things Riley had to endure when his girlfriend left for work. One night, as Riley was sleeping peacefully, he was suddenly awakened by a repetitive noise that seemed to come from nowhere. He got out of bed to investigate, but what he found only left him more disturbed. The door handle was shaking violently, and at one point, it even locked itself without explanation. When whatever was causing the disturbance finally stopped, Riley, frustrated and desperate for answers, left his room and searched for the source. But as always, he found nothing. This wasn't the first time it happened, and Riley decided to keep it a secret from Becca, not wanting to scare her. But the strange events continued, and Riley has come close to reaching out to his local church for help, as he feels like he's at the breaking point.